Ladies and gentlemen, the battlefield of success does not begin in the marketplace. It does not start with opportunity. It begins within, in the private chambers of your own mind. And the enemy, doubt. You see, doubt isn't a monster that lurks in the shadows. Doubt is a whisper, quiet, persuasive, and dangerous. It doesn't scream, it suggests. What if you fail? What if they laugh? What if you're not good enough? And before you realize it, you're frozen. Brilliant idea in hand, but paralyzed by hesitation. But there is a secret, a mental trick that can silence doubt forever. It begins with a definite purpose, not a vague wish, not a maybe or a someday, but a burning desire backed by emotion, direction, and commitment. When your mind is locked on a mission so clear that it makes your heart beat faster, doubt cannot find a foothold. Then you must use the magic of auto-suggestion. Tell your mind who you are. Feed it daily with affirmations soaked in emotion. I am prepared. I am determined. I am capable. When these words become your habit, doubt becomes a stranger. Let me tell you, this emotion rules the mind, not logic. Doubt will offer you evidence. It will show you past failures, remind you of every reason to quit. But those are logical lies. The truth lives in your emotions. Fire beats fear. Belief breaks barriers. And courage. Courage commands the future. Now, here's the mental trick that makes it all real. See yourself winning. Every single day, close your eyes and picture yourself already there. Standing in victory, speaking with confidence, walking in success. The subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. And when it sees you winning, it begins to act accordingly. And finally, perhaps most importantly, take action in spite of fear. Don't wait for doubt to leave. Move anyway. Every step you take builds proof. And the more you act, the quieter doubt becomes, until one day it vanishes completely. Remember, the mind is your greatest servant or your fiercest master. Train it, speak to it, command it, and it will obey. Use this mental trick. Use it daily. Use it boldly, and doubt will have no choice but to disappear forever. Doubt is one of the most subtle and destructive forces in the human experience. It doesn't arrive like a storm with thunder and lightning. It creeps in quietly, often disguised as logic, caution, or humility. You won't hear it shouting at you. Instead, you'll feel it in the pause before you speak your truth, in the hesitation before you act on your idea, in the slight tightening of your chest when opportunity knocks. Doubt lives in the quiet moments, whispering questions that shake the foundation of your confidence. What if you fail? What if you're not good enough? What if they don't believe in you? These questions, repeated over time, can create a prison without bars, one that keeps you confined not by the world but by your own thinking. The truth is, doubt is not a natural part of your being. You were not born with it. A child doesn't doubt its ability to walk, speak, or create. Doubt is learned. It's absorbed from rejection, criticism, disappointment, or comparison. It grows when we confuse temporary setbacks with permanent failure. It gains strength when we let the opinions of others shape our belief in ourselves. And most dangerously, it thrives when we treat it as truth instead of what it really is, a suggestion, not a command. Understanding this is your first weapon against it. Doubt is not a prophecy. It's a reaction. It's your mind trying to protect you based on past pain or uncertainty. But the mind is programmable. It responds to direction. And when you see doubt for what it is, a habit of thought, not a reflection of your worth or potential, you can begin to confront it with something far stronger: clarity, belief, and decision. When left unchecked, doubt can disguise itself as rational thinking, when in fact, it's just fear dressed in professional clothing. It tells you to wait for the right time, to gather more information, or to play it safe. But underneath these clever excuses is the same paralyzing force, a lack of belief in your ability to shape your own outcome. Once you grasp that doubt is internal, not external, you reclaim your power. It's not the world that's stopping you. It's the story you're telling yourself. And the beautiful thing about that story is you can rewrite it. Doubt loses its grip the moment you decide that you no longer accept it as part of your identity. It may still knock, but you no longer have to answer. There is a force within every human being that, when fully awakened, can cut through fear, silence doubt, and move mountains. That force is a definite purpose, a clear, unwavering goal that grips your imagination, stirs your soul, and drives your every action. It is not a mere wish or casual interest. It is a commitment, a decision, a burning desire backed by intent so strong that failure becomes irrelevant. When you know what you want and why you want it, you become unstoppable. A definite purpose acts like a compass for the mind. Without it, the mind drifts, pulled in 1,000 directions by distraction, fear, and the opinions of others. But once your purpose is set, your thoughts begin to organize themselves around that mission. Energy, focus, and determination come alive. Doubt loses its hold because you're no longer questioning whether you should move. You're too busy moving. Most people never choose a definite purpose because it requires courage. It demands that you draw a line in the sand and say, "This is what I'm going after, no matter what." And with that choice comes responsibility. But here's the secret: clarity eliminates confusion. The moment you commit to a purpose, your mind starts filtering out everything that doesn't serve that goal. Suddenly, you're not entertaining doubt, because doubt doesn't belong in the direction you're headed. When you possess a definite purpose, your language changes. You stop saying, "I hope," and start saying, "I will." You stop asking for permission and begin claiming your vision. Life stops happening to you. It starts responding to you. People, resources, and opportunities begin to align not because of luck, but because of the power of focus. A clear purpose signals to the world that you are no longer a wanderer. You are a builder, a creator, a person on a mission. And the beauty of this mental shift is that it doesn't require anyone's approval. You don't need to wait for someone to give you a green light. You don't need perfect conditions or even complete certainty. All you need is the courage to decide. A definite purpose, once chosen and believed in, becomes more powerful than any doubt or fear you've ever known. It sharpens your decisions. It fuels your motivation. It lifts you up when obstacles try to pull you down. You will still face challenges. You will still hear the echo of uncertainty. But when your purpose burns bright enough, those doubts sound like background noise, easy to ignore, easy to overcome. Because when you have a mission that matters, quitting is no longer an option. And in that moment, you become exactly what the world needs: a person with vision, driven not by circumstance, but by the power of purpose. Your mind is the control center of your reality, and the words you feed it daily determine whether you move forward with power or stay frozen in fear. Auto-suggestion and affirmations are not just feel-good phrases or motivational slogans. They are tools for rewiring your thinking, reprogramming your beliefs, and transforming the way you see yourself and the world. Every single thought repeated with emotion leaves an imprint on your subconscious mind. That imprint becomes belief, and belief, repeated over time, becomes your reality. Most people don't realize it, but they're already using auto-suggestion every day, just in the wrong direction. When you tell yourself things like, "I can't do this," "I always mess up," or "I'm not good enough," you're programming your mind to accept those statements as truth. Over time, those thoughts harden into beliefs, and those beliefs shape your actions. Or worse, your inaction. The mind doesn't resist repetition. It doesn't judge whether a thought is helpful or harmful. It simply absorbs what you give it over and over until it becomes your default. That's where the power of intentional affirmations comes in. When you consciously choose the words you speak to yourself, with conviction, consistency, and emotion, you begin to overwrite the mental scripts that have held you back. I am confident. I am capable. I am focused and driven. These aren't just phrases, they are commands. When spoken with belief, they pierce through doubt and start forming a new internal narrative, one that fuels your actions rather than stalls them. The trick is not just to say affirmations, but to feel them. Emotion is the catalyst. A dry statement has little impact, but a declaration filled with certainty vibrates through your entire being. It plants seeds in the subconscious mind that begin to grow. often in ways you won't fully recognize until your behavior shifts and your results begin to change. Repetition is the key. Just as water wears down stone, repeated affirmations reshape mental patterns. Daily practice is essential, not just when you feel motivated, but especially when you don't. Say your affirmations in the morning to set the tone. Say them when doubt creeps in. Say them before you take on a challenge. Over time, they become second nature. You don't just repeat them, you begin to believe them. And once belief takes root, everything changes. This is not fantasy. It is psychological fact. What you think about consistently, you begin to expect. What you expect, you begin to act on. What you act on, you begin to create. That's how auto-suggestion works, not by magic, but by the law of mind. You become what you repeatedly tell yourself you are. Your internal dialogue becomes your destiny. So be intentional. Be deliberate. Replace the voice of doubt with the voice of strength. Use affirmations as your daily armor, your internal compass, your mental fuel. Speak to yourself like someone you are becoming, not someone you used to be. Because the moment you do, you begin to shift your identity, and your identity is the foundation of everything you will ever achieve. In the battle between emotion and logic, it is emotion that almost always wins. Logic may guide us with facts, but emotion is what moves us to act. It's what drives decisions, fuels persistence, and crushes fear when nothing else can. And when it comes to silencing doubt, emotion is the superior weapon. Not because logic isn't useful, but because doubt itself is emotional at its core. It isn't based on reason. It's based on fear, uncertainty, and insecurity. And to defeat it, you must fight fire, with belief, courage, and conviction. Think about it. Doubt doesn't show up with evidence. It doesn't provide charts and graphs. It whispers feelings of inadequacy, of risk, of shame. It creeps in when you're tired, when you're unsure, when you're reaching for something bigger than you've ever achieved before. That's not a logical response. It's an emotional reaction. So trying to argue with doubt using cold logic often fails. You can give yourself every reason why something should work. But if you don't feel capable, you'll still hesitate. If you don't feel worthy, you'll still pull back. The antidote, then, is to generate stronger emotions, empowering ones, that override the noise. This is why high performers spend time fueling themselves emotionally. They don't just think through their goals. They connect to them. They make them real in their hearts before they ever become real in their hands. When your goal moves you emotionally, when you can feel the outcome before it arrives, you begin to build a kind of inner certainty that doubt cannot touch. You stop asking, "What if it doesn't work?" and start feeling, "How could I not do this?" This shift doesn't mean you ignore logic altogether. It means you understand that logic serves the mission, but emotion drives it. Emotion is what gives your thoughts momentum. It's what transforms knowledge into belief. You can read all the strategies and listen to all the advice in the world, but if it doesn't move you emotionally, it won't stick. You won't act. You won't commit. You'll think, but you won't believe. This is why it's so important to cultivate positive emotional states deliberately. Music, movement, visualization, environment. All of these can trigger emotions that put you in a powerful state. When you feel unstoppable, you act like it. When you feel inspired, you create. When you feel certain, doubt disappears. You don't need to wait for motivation to strike. You can create it, and when you do, you begin to take control of your mind, your choices, and your life. The truth is you already know enough. You already have enough insight, enough logic, enough reasons. What you need now is to feel the truth of your own power. You need to awaken the part of you that believes with emotion, not just thoughts, because when your heart and your mind are aligned, you become a force that no amount of doubt can shake. And from that place, your future is no longer something you hope for. It's something you command. Before anything great is achieved in the physical world, it is first built in the mind. The most powerful tool you possess isn't your talent, your background, or even your resources. It's your imagination. Mental rehearsal, or visualization, is the process of seeing your success before it happens, of experiencing your victory internally so vividly and consistently that your subconscious mind accepts it as truth. And once the mind believes something as real, it begins to shape your actions, your energy, and your results to match that internal image. Visualization is not wishful thinking. It's not fantasy. It's a deliberate mental practice used by world-class performers in sports, business, art, and leadership. When you close your eyes and picture yourself speaking with confidence, achieving your goals, solving problems, or crossing the finish line, you are doing far more than daydreaming. You are programming your mind to expect success. You are sending a signal to your nervous system that this version of you, the one who is bold, capable, and relentless, is who you truly are. Doubt thrives in uncertainty. It feeds on unfamiliarity. But when you rehearse your success in your mind over and over again, you make that outcome familiar. You've already seen yourself handling pressure. You've already felt what it's like to win. You've already navigated the obstacles in your mind. So when the real moment arrives, it doesn't feel like a risk. It feels like recognition. You are simply stepping into the scene you've already rehearsed 1,000 times. This practice is especially powerful when done with emotion. Don't just see yourself succeeding. Feel it. Feel the pride, the confidence, the joy. Feel the momentum in your body, the energy in your voice, the calm in your decisions. These feelings lock the vision into your nervous system. They help turn abstract goals into tangible realities your body begins to move toward automatically. You stop trying to succeed and start behaving like someone who already has. The subconscious mind cannot distinguish between real and vividly imagined experiences. That's why visualization works. You can mentally practice a speech, a difficult conversation, a competition, or a business deal, and your mind will adapt as though you've done it in real life. Athletes use this to fine-tune their movements. Entrepreneurs use it to prepare for high-stakes decisions. You can use it to rewire your identity. Make it a daily practice. Just a few minutes a day of mental rehearsal can shape your confidence in ways that hours of information never could. Combine it with affirmations, with deep breathing, with a strong emotional connection to your goals. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, doubt can't survive in a mind that is constantly filled with images of certainty, victory, and strength. This is the mental trick that separates dreamers from achievers. One hopes for the best, the other lives it in advance, and then makes it real. And the best part, you don't need anything outside of yourself to begin. Close your eyes, build your vision, live it, feel it, believe it, and soon you'll walk into it. There will never be a perfect moment. The stars won't align, the fear won't vanish, and the doubts won't completely disappear. Waiting for the ideal time is one of the most common traps that keeps people stuck in the same place, watching opportunities pass by and wondering why nothing ever changes. But here's the truth, the only antidote to fear is action, not planning, not thinking, not analyzing action. Movement is what breaks the cycle of hesitation and silence. It is what transforms fear into fuel. Fear is not a stop sign, it's a signal. It shows up whenever you're about to step beyond your comfort zone. And that's a good thing, because the life you want, the version of you that's waiting on the other side of growth, doesn't live inside your comfort zone. It lives in the unknown, where fear and doubt will always try to talk you out of your potential. But the moment you take action, even a small one, you send a message back to that fear. I'm in control now. It doesn't matter if the action is messy, imperfect, or incomplete. What matters is that it breaks the inertia. Action builds confidence. Action generates momentum. When you take the first step, the next one becomes clearer. And with each move, the voice of doubt becomes quieter. You begin to realize that fear was never as powerful as it pretended to be. It just relied on your inaction to stay alive. Every successful person you admire has one thing in common. They moved before they felt ready. They didn't wait for fear to leave. They walked with it. They acted through it. They made progress in spite of uncertainty, because they understood something most people miss. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's doing it anyway. Taking immediate action creates a shift in your identity. It tells your brain, this is who I am now. No longer just a thinker, a dreamer, a planner, but a doer. And that identity shift is powerful. When you start to see yourself as someone who acts no matter what, your entire reality begins to change. Challenges become opportunities. Setbacks become lessons. Fear becomes a compass pointing toward growth. You don't need to know the whole path. You just need to take the next step. Make the call. Start the project. Say yes to the challenge. Send the message. Record the video. Launch the idea. Do something. Action is how you create clarity. It's how you build strength. And it's how you silence the internal voice that says you can't, by proving moment by moment that you can. Fear will visit, but it doesn't have to stay. When you build the habit of immediate action, you train your mind to respond with strength rather than hesitation. You condition yourself to move forward instead of freezing. And over time, fear stops being a barrier. It becomes a background noise, barely noticeable as you move boldly toward the life you were meant to live. Now you know the truth. Doubt is not your enemy. It is your training ground. It only has power when you feed it. It only wins when you hesitate. But from this moment forward, you are no longer the same. You've been shown the tools to silence that doubt forever, not by avoiding it, but by rising above it. You've seen how understanding the nature of doubt weakens its grip. You've seen the force of a definite purpose to direct your energy. You've learned how to use auto, suggestion, and affirmations to rewire the mind. You've felt the power of emotion to override logic, the strength of mental rehearsal to bring your future into focus, and the unstoppable impact of taking action even in the face of fear. This isn't theory. This is transformation. If you apply what you've heard consistently and with intention, doubt will no longer dictate your decisions. You will, not because you're never afraid, but because fear no longer leads. You do. The greatest minds, the strongest leaders, the most successful people you admire, they weren't born with something you lack. They simply decided to believe before they had proof. They chose action before they felt ready, and now so can you. Your mind is your most powerful asset. Train it, guard it, feed it daily with belief, vision, and courage. Speak to yourself like someone who wins. Walk like someone who expects success. And when doubt knocks, as it will, meet it with certainty, backed by purpose, powered by action. That's how you silence doubt forever. The time to begin is not tomorrow, it's now. Decide who you are. Declare where you're going and move.